Hi, my name is Maria Dmytriyeva. I am a feminist, a radical feminist, and a trainer in women's rights. I am based in Ukraine, and I work with the civil society organization called Democracy Development Center. Our organization has been working on the issue of women's rights, men's violence against women, trafficking in women for more than 20 years now, and protecting women from all forms of exploitation has been one of our major tasks. Educating people about different forms of such exploitation and violence, how it can be combated, how survivors can be helped. We have been educating people at different levels about these issues and helping them to get together and start working to address these issues, starting from the level of ministries all the way to local communities, which are called in Ukrainian hromadas. Since 1 year ago, we have taken on a lot of work in the humanitarian sector, working with hosting communities and internally displaced populations, specifically in the west of Ukraine. And we have been working on how better put together the hosting communities, the women and more widely internally displaced people overall into contact with each other, to start talking, to start discussing their needs, to start addressing those needs, find funds, find resources to have these needs met. And while the issue of conflict-related sexual violence has been prominent in the Ukrainian society, in public sphere for the last year, not basically because the Russian troops have been using the sexualized violence against women, men, and children as a tool of war, as a tool of genocide, and understandably, as much attention is given to the growing number of cases of domestic violence. As we all know, when crisis hit, the numbers of cases of domestic violence grow. First of all, because the pressure is getting to everybody, and some people decide to let go of this pressure in criminal and non-constructive ways. And in our situation, the centers working to provide services to survivors of domestic violence have been repurposed to work with internally displaced people. So there are not enough police officers, are not enough social services. So survivors of all forms of domestic violence don't have that many opportunities to ask for help and assistance. And there are not as many resources that can be used towards this issue, addressing it, providing help to survivors and stopping the aggressors. And non-state torture in Ukraine is not considered a crime, and it is not something that is publicly discussed, as most of attention that probably the society has to allocate on the topic of violence against women is concentrated on the crimes committed by the Russian soldiers against Ukrainian citizens. But the violence that women and children are enduring at hands of their husbands, their fathers, their brothers, members of their immediate and extended families is not going anywhere. And this issue has to be raised, this issue has to be addressed, and this issue has to be understood, first of all, by the police, then by the social services, and by the wider public. The Ukrainian women organizations have been fighting tooth and nail for the last 30 years to educate the wider public about domestic violence, trafficking in women, and all forms of male violence against women. And I think that the advances that we have made are pretty remarkable, but it is high time we include the issue of non-state torture into our educational agenda, our awareness raising agenda, and our government, our state has to be aware of these issues and ready to allocate resources to stop the violence and to help the survivors.